Again with the falling. Why can't it ever be a gentle landing? Oh, Vivia. This is called the Mystery Labyrinth.
So, this place is a physical manifestation of mysteries from the case?
This guy.
You can tell? Oh, well, anyway, this actually isn't my forte.
Don't tell him
It's-
anything else.
Due to the power of death. Her, right?
Huh?
So you really could see me this whole time.
He could?
It's due to my spiritual affinity. Ever since I was young, I've been able to see otherworldly things.
So this whole time, he played it off pretty well.
My forte was gained through training that innate talent. Though, I wasn't able to see her clearly like this before. I could tell you were talking to some haze following you around, but that was it. Until one day, I used my spectral projection at the agency, and saw that death got clear as crystal. After that, I did some research. I discovered that the WDO underground book vault held something called the Book of Death, and also that someone had taken it.
Did I take it? Before I lost my memories?
I don't know. Since you're a rookie, I doubt you'd have access to the book vault. Only a handful of people have WDO clearance for that.
Just a handful?
Anyway, you've been using this ability to solve the other cases up till now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, this is also related to the mysterious deaths of all those culprits?
Jeez.
My guess is, clearing a labyrinth, a materialization of a mystery, causes its true perpetrator to die. If that's the case, you've killed a lot of people with your own hands, Yuma.
Well, I didn't really kill anyone. It's just what happens when...
Nope. I may be the one reaping their souls, but the blood is still on your hands.
Really, Shinigami? You know how many times she said, like, it's not your fault? Like, or something to that extent. Now she's like, oh, okay, it's on your hands.
What? Hey!
No point in pretending to be a goody two-shoes. You're risking your life to solve these mysteries.
I see. So you're determined to do this, huh? Sorry, but I don't think I have that kind of conviction myself. So, I think I'll take a nap here while you go and risk your life.
Thought you wanted to die.
You can sleep if you want, but you won't be able to get out.
Is that so?
If you're not with Master when and if he solves the labyrinth, this place will collapse around you. Well, if you don't have any regrets in the real world, you're free to die here.
Regrets. I don't have any of those, but there are still some things I've left unfinished. Especially after you exposed the mystery of this case.
What do you mean by that?
I'll be perfectly clear. I'm just going to tag along. I'll leave the heavy lifting to you.
I want to, but I don't trust him. Like,
I don't care what you do, just don't get in our way. Well, Master, let's do the usual.
Yeah, okay.
Master, are you ready to give your life for the truth?
I am.
She's like, yeah, okay, I'm not feeling it right now. So what's this represent, like Dance with Death, basically?
Is that sword for cutting through mysteries? This place must be pretty dangerous.
Here you go, Master. Here's your solution key.
Thank you.
Is that key something like a clue for the case? Wow. Looks like you're ready to go.
Could you be more of a doubter? Whatever. I'm gonna ignore you. So let's go and unriddle this mystery labyrinth. Let's hunt down this culprit who preys on the truth.
We have to walk? This is unbearable.
Come on! You're bumming me out here.
I thought you were going to ignore him.
Like, we have to walk? Are you serious? Where's the nearest fireplace?
Say, Vivia, do you remember anything about the case?
You mean Dr. Weska's murder? Or are you talking about when Chief Yako was attacked?
Huh? You remember? Everyone else that came here lost their memories.
That's pretty rare. Must be because of his whole spiritual thing.
Yep.
So the others lost their memories. That's why no one remembers this death god.
I wonder if that's a bad thing that he's gonna remember.
How rude of them. It's thanks to yours truly that those cases got solved.
That reminds me, I used my coalescence with Fubuki before Vivia. But Vivia is the only one who came into the Mystery Labyrinth.
I guess coalescence got overwritten. Maybe it only takes the most recent ability. I don't know either.
You don't know? But coalescence is your power, Shinigami.
Relax, will ya? Minor detail.
You would have been better off with Fubuki. She would have been far more useful for this case.
It doesn't matter anyway. No one can use their forte here.
Oh. So now I really don't have to do anything. Thank goodness. What a relief.
Jeez! You ever think your lack of motivation could be contagious?
Hey, relax.
Now I really don't have to do anything. I mean, he's funny. It's just, he's also dangerous.
Ooh, there's that mystery!
Here we go.
Huh? I told you to stop surprising me like that.
I thought this labyrinth would only require your wits. But it looks like it's going to take more than that, Yuma.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of wits, so he doesn't have a choice.
Huh? Why didn't a problem appear?
Not only was there no problem, no choice appeared either. Master, maybe you don't even know which mystery to start with to solve this case.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns. I'm honestly feeling lost right now.
Come on! You gotta know where to start with this stuff, or you won't be able to solve a single thing!
What do you want us to do about it?
Let's decide that for now. What's the first mystery of this case?
The first mystery is the fact that Dr. Weska was murdered in a completely locked room with no way in or out. The doctor was located deep in the critical lab, behind layers of security. And yet, he was found stabbed to death. We were the first to discover the body. At the time, we were controlling the robot, Amapal. Because of that, we were thought to be the culprits. But we obviously aren't. So how did the culprit get in and out of the doctor's lab? That's what I don't know.
But the culprit is definitely the hitman, right?
I think so, but I'm not absolutely sure. Besides, even if the hitman did it, there's the question of who hired him.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Hitmen are usually hired, right?
But there's no doubt the hitman
Contracted.
stabbed Chief Yako. That's the only thing I'm absolutely certain about.
And he was dressed as a lab tech. What is this?
Peacekeepers?
Kanai Ward's garbage. What are you doing here?
What?
Yomi Hell Smile.
So the director of the Peacekeepers is here.
Yeah, but he's just part of the Mystery Labyrinth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that threw me off for a second.
I figured. In other words, he's a monster created from the labyrinth, right?
Right.
You pieces of shit.
There we go. See, they all look too normal.
Disturbing the peace of Kanai Ward!
This guy doesn't seem like an easy opponent.
But we have no choice. For Chief Yako, for everyone.
You killed Dr. Weska, didn't you? Turn yourselves in so I can torture you to death! You're the ones who killed
What's making this a little
Weska.
difficult is I haven't played in a week.
You disarmed the security system to the doctor's lab,
So I'll warm back up.
and then murdered him inside. Until you actually entered the lab, the security system for the critical lab stayed active. It's impossible to bypass the system while it's active. In other words, no one can enter the doctor's lab. There couldn't be an intruder.
This is the truth.
Now we're getting somewhere.
When the body was first discovered, Amapal was about to enter the doctor's lab. But something bumped into it and knocked it over. In fact, there was a mark on Amapal's head, like someone kicked it. That mark wasn't there when we borrowed it. It's proof that someone else was in the lab.
You call that evidence?
Pretty much.
Is bullshit the only thing that comes out of that mouth? Don't make me laugh. Shit! There was an intruder? That's impossible! And in fact, you proved that yourself!
That claim doesn't hold up. What do you mean? We proved there wasn't an intruder.
You still don't understand? Don't make me laugh!
Yeah, that part was confusing. What does he mean?
If there was another intruder,
Uh-huh.
where did they go?
Floor plan of the lab. It's supposed to be top secret file, but it was found hidden. Look at it. Like the decontamination device in the air. Lock chamber. The cover of the panel chamber cannot be open or closed. Alright, let's hear him out first, then we'll see.
By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical room. There's no way they got past it. Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it? That's obviously impossible! Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime!
Right.
What does that mean?
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right?
The floor plan of the lab. It's supposed to be a top secret file. It's not this one. We didn't even really discuss this much. It's one of these two. This is the area before, like, the lab room, I believe. I can see the floor with the tiles. And this is on the way to the toxic gas room.
There's no place to hide in the critical room. There's no way they got past it. Or are you saying they slipped away and you missed it?
Man. I don't know.
That's obviously impossible! Isn't that funny? You just proved you committed the crime!
Yeah, no one passed you guys and we didn't see anything. There had to have been an intruder, right? Wouldn't they hide there?
That's true.
Yeah, if they were hiding, we never would have noticed. Yeah, if they were hiding here, we never would have noticed.
If there was another intruder, Then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical lab. There's no way they got past it. Or are you saying
I think it was
they
that
slipped
first
away
one.
and missed it?
I think it was that first one.
Say,
Toy detective and that shelter skank were there too. Yeah, I think it was the first one.
If there was another intruder, then where did they go?
We'll see.
By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right?
Oh, not that.
say,
The one after.
That's true.
If there was another intruder, then where did they go? By the time you arrived at the scene, there was no one else, right? There's no place to hide in the critical room.
I'll slash through this mystery.
Alright, got it. Finally.
There's a hiding spot. It's inside the airlock's decontamination device.
This one's tricky.
The vents cover can be easily removed, and there's just enough space for someone to fit inside. If they hid inside the decontamination device, we wouldn't have seen them when we arrived at the scene.
So what? You've got it all wrong anyway. Everything is wrong. Your existence is all wrong. Have fun chasing that fake truth you found.
For existence. We're getting off topic here, buddy.
We managed to defeat him this time, but it's not over yet.
he sure is persistent, huh?
Anyway, there's no doubt someone else was inside the doctor's lab. So let's unravel each mystery one at a time.
All right, we'll get it this time.
Come on, why does it have to be so sudden?
She does it on purpose. She could warn us.
Okay, now that we've wedged our way into this mystery, we just gotta head through the labyrinth and reach the truth!
What is he thinking about all this? Was there an intruder? Yes, there was an intruder.
Right here!
We just don't know who it was or how. We gotta know. That's the problem.
We're just now getting to the point. What a pain.
Hey, don't sigh, this is a good thing!
Sorry.
Anyway, let's head inside.
There was an intruder for sure! We know someone bumped into Amapal.
The culprit probably hit Amapal on their way out. After that, they must have intended to leave the lab. But they couldn't because we were in the front chamber. So they hid inside the decontamination device to avoid us.
So, if you checked inside the decontamination device on the way to the scene,
We would have found them.
You would have caught the culprit then and there.
But we went right into the lab.
Yeah, but it was an emergency and we had no idea they were in there.
It's super lame to make up excuses, Master.
It's not an excuse.
Didn't I want to, like, check around first? I feel like I
That is
wanted to.
true. If I had thought about why Amapal was knocked over at that time, I would have realized the culprit was in there. We could have waited in ambush or searched for them. And if I'd caught the culprit then, Chief Yako wouldn't have gotten stabbed.
Master, wallowing in regret is even lamer. If you have time for that, you have time to keep going.
I agree.
Right.
He's starting to grow as a protagonist, I would say. He does a lot of self-loathing though, but he's starting to... He's doing it a little less.
Really? Another fork in the path.
Seems like we're finally at the central question. This is the first step to solving how the culprit committed an impossible murder.
I leave the rest to you. I'm going to read a book or something.
You can bring your own stuff into the Mystery Labyrinth?
He's just special.
He's just special. I'll leave it to you to solve this one, Yuma. How did the culprit enter the lab? Deactivated security by cutting the power? Never entered in the first place. Invited in by the doctor. So, let me go over these really quick. There's so many. Okay, really quickly. Just want to refresh with them. Okay. So we know that the lab wasn't opened for maybe like 3 months. So they couldn't have been invited in. But he did, we also know he did receive a delivery of like food or something. That's the only time it was open. This one's ridiculous. He never entered in the first place. What was... Deactivated security, cutting the power. It's not this one because it's on a second power grid. Also, think about this. When we got there, the door was closed. So, the door to his lab was closed. It wasn't open. We opened it. And when we opened it, the culprit was still inside. Then they knocked over Amapal and hid. I'm gonna say... I'm gonna say this. This or the middle. If we're wrong, we're wrong, but...
Right here!
Let's find out.
doctor invited the culprit in? But why?
Things are so muddled now because we're assuming the culprit forced their way inside. If the culprit was invited to the lab, then he easily would have been able to enter.
Ah, so you think the doctor disabled the security? He wouldn't need it if he was expecting a guest.
Maybe either that or the guy snuck in somehow. And just...
Huh? A trap?
Guess you were wrong, Yuma.
Guess so.
Well, I already knew that before you entered.
Why didn't you say anything?
What? Why didn't you tell me?
You wanted me to tell you? Should have said so earlier.
You want us to waste time?
People only grow by learning from past mistakes, which is why I purposely...
Master, we have to get out of here!
How do we get out?
Use logic to show how this route is the wrong one!
The logic to show how this route is the wrong one.
All right, I'll try.
Why is it invited in, but the doctor not correct? Security log.
The log on the doctor's computer didn't show any signs of security getting shut down. If that's the case, he certainly didn't cut security just to let someone in.
That's really cool. How even if you get it wrong, there's...
Well, I may have messed up, but at least we got a little closer to the truth.
It eliminates the other clues. Plus you get extra dialogue. That's cool.
Maybe, but if you hadn't messed up in the first place, you wouldn't have to come up with such a lame excuse.
Alright, alright.
I know. I'll do better next time.
I mean, I never thought, to be fair, that he just let him in. I was thinking maybe he snuck in. It said invited, but I thought maybe he invited the person that brought his food in. Right? And the guy snuck in somehow. Alright. Never entered in the first place. Doesn't even make sense. He had to have entered because he killed the doc. But this one's also weird. Because I thought the power was on like a separate grid, right? Was that like separate? Yeah, the security lab operates on a separate panel, a system power. Yeah, it's different. I mean, let's try here because let's try it. Let's see. Maybe we're overthinking.
The culprit used the blackout to slip past security and into the lab.
Maybe I'm overthinking. You guys probably
That
figure it
answer
out
is
already.
Pretty simple. Almost too simple.
Yeah, this is so simple. There's no way this is it, right?
Huh? This route is wrong too?
Knew it.
Again?
No need to worry, Yuma. I don't mind it at all if we can't find a way to move forward.
Sheesh. Even I'm losing motivation. You can take care of this on your own, can't you, Master?
Both of you, shut up.
Don't let him influence you!
Alright, why is this one incorrect? This is what I just said before we entered. It's on a separate power system.
The doctor said the critical lab was on a separate grid, and the lab switchboard wasn't in the electrical room. The security wouldn't shut off, even if there was a blackout in the building.
So, what?
No excuses, Master. Do it again.
You're tired, Yuma. Why don't you lie down for a bit?
Shut up.
Resting here wouldn't help me at all.
Got it. Jeez. Haven't played for a week. Give me a break. That's not gonna happen again. Can't get rusty in this game. You forget the case. This is crazy. Never entered in the first place. What the heck?
Right here!
Culprit never entered? But you said there's no doubt the culprit was in there.
Perhaps the intruder is not the culprit after all.
So you're saying that the doctor committed suicide? If the doctor committed suicide, then the culprit wasn't the intruder, but the doctor himself.
But if the doctor did it, there would be no intruder. The doctor was already in the lab.
It wasn't that. Like, I'm sure it wasn't that. Because someone stabbed the chief.
Huh? What? This was the last route!
This labyrinth is a tricky one. It's like one of those old detective novels. Perhaps you're the real culprit, Yuma.
Maybe you're the culprit. You got the knife.
Really, Master?
Shinigami.
Of course not! Focus! We need to get out of here!
Wait, so they all were wrong? There are 3 stab wounds in his back. One of them still has the knife in it. With no other injuries, this appears to be the cause of death.
That's right. The doctor was stabbed 3 times in the back. One stab would have indicated that he held the knife in place, then fell on it to kill himself. But he couldn't have made 3 wounds like that. There's no way it was a suicide. What's going on? Were all 3 routes wrong?
See? So technically we didn't choose any that were wrong. They were all wrong.
I wonder what it means.
So none of that matters. What just happened? None of that matters. We didn't get anything wrong. It wasn't our fault.
Hey, there's another door!
What's this? Why is it on the side like
I
that?
get it! Since we proved that every possibility was wrong, a new one has appeared.
Interesting. The Mystery Labyrinth not only materializes the case, but also changes based on your investigation.
Right. Something felt off about those other routes. It's almost like we were forced to choose the wrong way.
But by eliminating each wrong answer one by one, you opened the path to the right answer.
You sound disappointed.
Who cares? Let's just see what's in the final route!
They use spectral projection to enter and kill him?
Then, the culprit is...
They use spectral projection. Vivia.
I can't believe the culprit entered the labyrinth with us. That's never happened before.
There's no way though. Why would Vivia kill the doctor? It doesn't make sense.
How dare you trick me!
Also, you can't touch things with spectral projection. How would he stab him?
There is no escape! Once the mystery labyrinth is solved, the culprit will be judged!
Shinigami, calm down.
Master, let's finish up this mystery labyrinth and both kill this dude!
Hold on! That's why I said to wait. There's no way Vivia's the culprit.
Then prove it and beat this thing! I won't be convinced until you do!
Entered and killed via spectral projection is wrong because... Why? As heard from Vivia, the traits of a ghost form are as follows. You cannot touch anything while using spectral projection. You cannot take over someone else's body, nor can it be heard. Exactly, so it doesn't make sense. That's not the reason.
To begin with, nothing can be touched while in ghost form. He couldn't have held the murder weapon, the knife. So it's not possible that he stabbed the doctor. Now do you trust Vivia?
Master, I've said this 1,000 times, but a detective must suspect everything.
She's embarrassed.
Besides, it's his fault for being so sketchy. The way he looks, how he talks, everything is super suspicious.
Sorry. I do try to stay out of sight.
Anyway, let's go back.
If he's not the culprit, then we're back to square one.
Let's try going back to the fork in the path. Maybe something else changed. Nothing's changed.
There aren't any new doors. What? There's nowhere to go? What was the point of eliminating all the other paths?
Come on.
Don't start with that again. How about you help us for a change?
And see, it wasn't just me. This labyrinth is a little harder. The way the questions are worded.
You better cooperate, unless you want to get chopped up by Master Solution.
This case, everything's trickier, which I like. So, I enjoy it.
Hold on, Shinigami.
I don't want to get chopped up. I dislike pain immensely. But you know, the journey up to now wasn't a waste. We did eliminate many possibilities.
Good point.
But that means nothing if we can't reach the truth.
Nothing? Why do you want the truth in the first place?
Huh?
It's easy to say you want the truth, but are you sure you can handle it? No matter how cruel the truth may be.
Jeez. What are you getting at?
Can I handle it?
I'm still not sure if you're the kind of person who can. I bet you're not sure either. And that's why you're still so hesitant. This mystery labyrinth also reflects your reluctance. Maybe that's why you can't reach the truth.
What are you talking about? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I won't hesitate to expose the truth.
So you still haven't realized it? Guess you're not quite there yet. Well, that's fine for now. But eventually, you'll be forced to make a choice. When that happens, you'll have to prove your conviction and expose the truth, like you said.
Enough nonsense. Let's find some clues.
As an apology for the distraction, let me tell you something. This labyrinth appears to change shape by reflecting our investigation. So, instead of following the revealed path, isn't it possible to carve your own path?
Carve my own path? That's right, Shinigami! We can create new routes with our own deductions. Maybe we can do it here.
Sometimes, just a slight change in perspective is enough to completely change how you see things.
That is really true.
So if I change my perspective here, I might see something new. I see. I was so focused on how to overcome the security system. But that's not right. I need to change my perspective and think about who could have overcome it.
Who could have done it?
Don't box yourself in with your own assumptions.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
I hate when the anemic vampire tells us what to do. But if Master wants to, then fine. I'll lend you my power. Lay it all out, Master.
Shinigami Puzzle. Who is capable of overcoming the security system?
Twirling, twirl.
Amapal. No? Where is it? There it is.
That's right. Go, go, go. Nice.
food appeared.
This is all thanks to me.
Perhaps I said too much. Well, nothing has been solved yet.
I wish you'd express yourself a little better. How can we tell if you're happy or sad?
I've never been happy or sad in my entire life.
Dude, what the heck?
I want to die someday.
What a statement.
This guy's hopeless.
Anyway, let's explore this new route.
Ask him, like, what does he think would make him feel happy? What an interesting, like, character.
When you think about who could get past security, the only option we know of is Amapal.
Yep.
True, and that's how we were able to get through security ourselves.
But it's just a toy robot, right? How is it related to the case?
I don't know yet, but since Amapal can get through security, it must be important.
It's sealed off here, too.
Hey, there's an intercom. Maybe someone will respond if you use it.
No way. Huh? Doctor?
Huh? Wait. What the? Wait. Who are you? Help! Somebody come help me!
Isn't this the footage of when the doctor was attacked?
Yeah, you're right.
The mystery materialized.
Is there something with the footage? Who are you?
So the
Was
question
directed at
is,
who?
who did the doctor say? Who are you to?
Look at Vivia. He's like, oh, finally, a couch.
Well, I'll leave it to you.
I don't get how you can keep reading at a time like this.
Amapal. What do you think?
Let's solve this thing!
The who are you was directed at who? No one. Culprit. Amapal. Okay. Amapal doesn't make sense. There was no other Amapal in there when we got there, right? Like, he clearly looked to the side at something, so it's not no one. Culprit?
At this point in time, you still hadn't borrowed Amapal, yes? However weird it may be to talk about a robot having an alibi, and normally, I don't believe anyone would shout out, "Who are you?" to a robot.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's why I was like, it couldn't have been Amapal. But this game throws you for a loop sometimes, you know? Maybe there was two.
I can certainly understand why you'd want to choose that. But wasn't security active at that
He said
point?
it to no one? Vivia, is that what you're saying?
I considered all the various possibilities, but I couldn't figure out a way to get past the security. If I'm right, then there is no basis to infer that someone had entered the doctor's lab at this point, which means you can't say the doctor was directing those words to the culprit.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So it is what I said earlier. You remember when I was like, the door was closed when we got there? Was he talking to nobody?
The trap didn't activate. Does that mean we found the right answer?
This is so, like, let's get to the truth of this.
Huh? So the right answer is no one? Why would the doctor say, "Who are you?" if no one was there?
The security was still active at the time, so no one could enter the doctor's lab, right? And that was before I borrowed Amapal. So the only explanation is that no one was there.
What was the doctor's motive?
Why would he say that if no one was there?
Why would the doctor have a motive?
I think if we go there, we'll find the answer.
What? That route's obviously just a side road. Who cares what the old geezer was thinking anyway?
What was he up to? No, I want to know what he was up to.
But it looks like this is the only way we can go. Besides, I am curious about what was going through his mind. It could be an important factor in solving the mystery behind this case.
Still, being forced to take a side route is too much trouble. Makes me wish I was dead.
Let's go.
So, Master, do you have an idea about what the geezer was thinking?
Not yet, but I think it has to do with why he said, "Who are you?"
Maybe he said it on purpose to...
I think the doctor was putting on an act.
An act? Really?
The doctor put on an act for a reason, but I have no idea why. We have to figure that out by going down this doctor's motive route.
He's here too?
You rats keep scurrying around. Do you really think you'll discover Dr. Weska's motive this way? Good luck with that, morons! He had no motive at all!
Well, he said there's nothing here. Let's head back.
Dude, shut up.
I can't do that! If he's trying to block our path, then this route must be important.
Nah, fine.
Oh my gosh.
I'm only here because you maggots piss me off. So, I'm gonna end you here and now!
It's like, let's go back. You said there's nothing here. The doctor's notes, photo,
This was all...
the doctor's email records. A notebook found on the doctor's desk. It has diagrams of a person being splashed with sulfuric acid. Jeez. The email records of Dr. Weska and Anonymous. There was regular communication between them until just recently. According to the records, Dr. Weska was planning to escape Kanai Ward.
Part of the doctor's plan? He didn't have a plan at all. That exchange on the intercom wasn't an act. There was no reason to put on a show. The doctor misunderstood.
Fall asleep.
You probably don't know this. Weska put his soul into his work. The research was going well. The doctor was loyal to Amaterasu. This is the truth.
No, the doctor was planning on betraying Amaterasu Corporation. He was trying to escape Kanai Ward. He said so in the messages he wrote.
You little...
Yomi's rebuttal? What was that?
Yeah.
What was he trying to deny? Why was he covering up the doctor's motives?
It seems that this case involves the inner workings of Amaterasu.
Right. The doctor was going to betray Amaterasu, and whoever he was emailing knew that. So the doctor locked himself in the lab to protect himself from that person.
Perhaps the doctor's act had something to do with that. It's the security gate. Everything's locked up.
Why we gotta scream like that? Right? Why do you gotta make us scream like that?
Which means this is a complex problem.
I mean, he didn't fake his death, right? Because he's still lying on the floor.
We have to choose the right door and insert the correct solution key.
Swapping places. What?
This is way more hassle than before. Guess I'll leave it to you, Yuma.
As always.
This one's interesting. Swapping places. Doing this causes clothes and skin to melt, rendering the victim unrecognizable. Guys, did we see the doctor's face? Like on the body? It's a long shot, I'm just thinking. Like, did we ever actually see his... Did we see his face? I can't remember. Let's go with this. My mind's just running all kind of scenarios. I'm thinking, well, maybe he faked his death, and that's why he was looking up the acid to cover it, you know, make it look like it was him that died. And he could escape Kanai Ward and he'd think he was dead, you know? Let's try this.
Oh, the door actually opened. I knew I could let Yuma handle it.
Wait, I get it right?
Are you sure you aren't a phantom?
Cool.
So the doctor tried to swap places with someone else to escape from Amaterasu. The notes he left behind in the lab hinted at his plan.
You mean the diagram with the sulfuric acid being poured on someone?
Yeah, he was going to swap places with the corpse, then melt it with acid.
So that was his plan. So it was the actual doctor. His plan was to... what Yuma just said.
He wanted to disfigure it beyond recognition. That's how he planned to fake his own death.
At the very least, it'd buy him enough time to escape Kanai Ward. Or so he thought.
Wow! Melting a corpse with sulfuric acid? Yay! So cool and grotesque!
Ugh.
So who was the substitute supposed to be?
Look at Yuma. He has a headache.
Maybe the hitman. The doctor was under surveillance by Amaterasu, but he was still looking for a chance to escape. When he learned a hitman was after him, he figured his chance had arrived. The doctor was hoping to use the security system to kill the hitman and use the body as a decoy.
Now that I think about it, the doctor did seem to be waiting for the hitman to arrive.
The hitman hasn't arrived yet. When will he show up?
Yeah, that was a strange thing to say.
Don't tell me this so-called first-rate hitman was captured by peacekeepers.
But the hitman never did show up. That's why the doctor had a sudden change of plans.
And that was the act he put on by asking, "Who are you?"
Perhaps that was a trap to lure you in, Yuma.
He was trying to lure Master?
He considered taking advantage of the detectives, since the hitman never showed up. So if he called for help, he would charge into the lab, not knowing anything about the security system, and thereby acquire the corpse he needed as his decoy.
That's ridiculous. There's no way Yuma's skinny body would pass for the doctors. Okay.
That seems overly complicated. Like those guys who overthink asking girls out.
Wait, what did she say? Like those guys who overthink asking girls out.
Well, he couldn't have used another researcher. Someone would have noticed their absence. He needed visitors, people from outside to pull it off.
There's no way it could have been us, though. That's horrible if he really was plotting our murder.
So if I didn't know about the security and had rushed into the lab,
You'd be a super sexy skeleton right now.
Oh, what? Super sexy skeleton.
Aw, so close.
You want that?
But the doctor's plan failed, and he actually got boom killed by the hitman. I get what he was trying to do, but what about the impossible murder?
Assuming the attack on the doctor was just an act when we saw him through the intercom, we at least know for sure the real attack hadn't happened yet.
In other words, the culprit entered the lab after that exchange. So the problem is, when did they actually enter?
Where are we?
This place is a real mystery. Then again, I suppose that checks out.
Huh? Shinigami?
Yeah! Master, this looks like an important turning point! So, is that your final answer?
I haven't said anything yet!
Master, you need to narrow down the timing for when the culprit got inside. Now then, here's a fateful fork in the road. It's life or death! We're at the crossroads of mystery and solution. This earth-shattering choice may be your last. Now, Master, which one will you choose?
The culprit entered the lab before Amapal. We're gonna say yeah.
When I directed Amapal to go into the doctor's lab, he already had a knife stuck in him. Which means he was murdered before Amapal entered the doctor's lab.
Yes.
Your answer?
That can't be wrong, right?
Is correct!
Alright, okay. Let's go.
Congratulations, Master! Would you like to double down?
Can I make a call?
What are you talking about? Anyway, let's keep going.
Little by little, we're narrowing down when the culprit entered.
Yeah, but we still don't know how yet. It had to be between when we spoke to the doctor over the intercom and when Amapal entered his lab. During that time, the culprit entered the doctor's lab and murdered him.
So the most likely time would be when you went to borrow Amapal, Master. The culprit had to have entered the lab then.
But Fubuki waited at the front chamber while Desuhiko and I went to borrow Amapal. She said no one entered or left the lab.
Yeah, so where? I'm thinking as we're running down this long hallway. What a case. Like, we're doing all this, I still don't know who it could have been. Like, if we think about our suspects, right? There's no one that we know or have seen, like in the story wise, like. Because usually in our cases, like for the Nailman, for example, there was the nun and the church and all that, right? Those were our suspects. Who are our suspects here, right?
Huh? We're back on the original path.
Like what, Yomi? I don't think it was Yomi. We have a suspect that anonymous, but we don't know who that is.
Maybe you're supposed to try opening that door now.
I'm sure that from here on out, it's not just about when, but also how the culprit got in. Yuma, there's no need to push yourself if things get too hard.
No, I can do it. I'm going to solve it.
Where was the culprit before the crime?
This is a map of the critical lab.
So we have to determine where the culprit was before the murder.
We'll have to solve them one at a time. Let's start with this mystery.
If we know where the culprit was before they got in, this route will be clear too. Do you know where, Yuma?
I'm gonna say the lab. Mistake.
As long as the security was still live, no one could enter the doctor's room, don't you think?
Okay, so this rules out. I just wanted to rule that out. This rules out that they were in the room already. Like,
Yes.
I just want to be extra certain. This is the poison.
Here.
This is where they were. They were hiding.
Culprit must have been here.
Yay! It opened!
How the heck did they get in there, though?
After the exchange on the intercom, given there was always a detective at the front chamber, when we went to borrow Amapal, the culprit had to have already made their way inside. But the airlock is the only location that isn't affected by the security system.
I see. Oh, okay, okay.
There. The culprit had to be inside that decontamination device before committing the crime.
But I thought he was just hiding in there to avoid being spotted after the crime. So you think the culprit was in there before the crime too?
Yeah, the culprit was waiting for their chance. But we had no idea when we sent Amapal into the airlock.
And from there, Yuma, you guided Amapal to the doctor's lab. So the culprit entered the doctor's lab before then? How would that be possible? Only Amapal could get past security, right?
Yeah, that's the next big question.
Maybe the culprit used another Amapal unit.
No, the researcher mentioned there was only one functioning Amapal.
Which means the Amapal Yuma controlled was the only one that could get past security.
So the culprit must have taken advantage of Master's Amapal to get into the doctor's lab.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah, that's the only way. But how did they use it?
Hold on.
There's no solving the doctor's murder until we figure that out.
Well, I have an idea. Will you hear me out?
What is it?
How about giving up? I'm getting tired.
Who?
Nope, motion denied.
I was listening to him seriously too.
Another fork in the road? Such a complicated mystery labyrinth.
Beyond each problem lies the truth. We're definitely getting closer to the heart of this mystery.
The shield. Weapon. What? How did the culprit use Amapal? There's neither of these. How would he have used it as a weapon? Or a shield? Oh, doesn't make sense.
Do you think neither is really the right answer?
I mean, I can't think of why it would be the other two. Maybe I'm missing something.
Given the process of elimination, that must be it. Amapal's hands aren't designed to hold anything, so it couldn't use the knife to murder the doctor.
Yeah.
Which means Amapal wasn't the murder weapon. And the culprit couldn't have used it as a shield. It can't neutralize the toxic gas, and the high voltage shock would destroy it.
So then, how did the culprit use Amapal?
I think we'll find out if we continue down this path.
Huh? That was the wrong answer? Come on, Master!
What?
Ow!
Huh? We're...
We've been here before. It looks like we've been brought back.
But the door we opened earlier is closed again. Why's that?
Being punished?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Not again.
Huh? Even the question is the same. Does that mean we gotta do it all over again?
You were just checking? You slashed our throat for that?
Well, the logic is still sound. There's no other hiding spot for the culprit besides the airlock.
So you want to choose the same answer and keep going?
If you do, you'll just repeat the whole process again.
Yeah. What's going on?
We'll just be brought back here if we can't figure out how did the culprit use Amapal. And I refuse to walk any more than I have to.
Hey, don't sit down!
What should I do?
Stand up! Stand up right now!
Stop it. Leave me alone.
If you want me to leave you alone, then help my useless master out!
Fine. Just one thing then. We're back at where was the culprit before the crime? Because you're stuck at how did the culprit use Amapal?
Was he... It's just a guess. Did the culprit... Was he standing on Amapal? Like, on top of his head? I'm just wondering. Like, how... Because I'm like, how else would he use them? I'm trying to figure out, like...
With that in mind, these two questions are connected.
Connected? Both the culprit's location and how Amapal was used?
Help him out More!
The culprit was hiding in the airlock, where you also left the robot.
It's like
right?
help him out more.
At that moment, only the culprit and Amapal were there. So maybe the culprit did something.
The culprit did something to Amapal?
Clues are always there, right under your nose. It's a detective's job to notice them. Did you notice anything strange back then? Any tiny detail? Try to remember.
Any tiny detail. What happened that was strange?
Something strange.
Even the tiniest thing.
Hey! Now that you mention it, back then...
Oh hey, the screen lit up. So this is what Amapal sees. It's like the cockpit of a mecha.
Whoa, what was that?
That.
Did it break already? I thought it was state of the art.
No, it's alright. It's stabilized. There was a moment when the camera stopped functioning while I was controlling Amapal. It returned to normal pretty quick, but...
Yeah, it was like a
maybe-
split second.
See? I told you it was right under your nose. You don't need any additional help from me, right?
That was a clue to help solve this mystery?
Actually, everything in this world is a key to solving mysteries. You just haven't noticed them. Perhaps there is more you're overlooking. Was there anything else unusual?
Something unusual. Something I missed.
Anything else? It's not like Amapal's camera showed the culprit.
Wait, that's it!
Huh?
Now that I think about it, wasn't that strange? The culprit must have gotten ahead of Amapal, but why didn't they ever show up on the camera? If the culprit went past Amapal to enter the doctor's lab, they would have been spotted for sure.
Now that you mention it,
But nobody showed up on camera. How did the culprit manage to pull that off?
They were either on top of Amapal or behind it.
How can you move from the airlock to the doctor's lab without appearing even once on Amapal's camera?
hey, aren't you just adding another mystery?
No. All the pieces are here.
Huh?
Yuma, the mysteries you face now can be solved with a single answer.
A single answer?
Sheesh. I talk too much.
Oh, one mystery after another! What did you do now? It's a Pandora's box of mysteries!
Let's stay calm and think about it. There's plenty of time.
Or not. I'll keep reading while you wrap things up.
Remember what he said, Master. All it takes is one answer to solve these mysteries. Use those weak brain cells of yours and think!
Culprit's location. Amapal's usage. Its malfunction. Why didn't the culprit appear on camera? All this can be solved with just one answer?
All these with one answer. Transportation. Jumped on it.
I got it! The culprit rode on Amapal's head, using it as a method of transportation.
Nice. We got it, guys.
With every open door, it will be harder for you to turn back. Are you sure you want to keep going?
Absolutely! I will find the truth no matter what. This is for the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Hey, you said the culprit rode on top of Amapal.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by that?
Literally what I said. The culprit rode Amapal and used it to get through.
What do you think I meant? What's wrong with her?
After we left Amapal in the airlock, the culprit came out of the decontamination device. Then they jumped on Amapal's head. The disruption in the footage was from the impact.
That's insane.
Is it? I think it's fairly reasonable. Amapal can withstand up to 100 kilograms of weight. So, someone riding on it shouldn't affect its functionality.
That's why that detail was important. Remember?
The shoe print on Amapal's head wasn't caused by someone kicking it. It was left there from the culprit hopping on and off.
This game has some good writing. Like, jeez, it's good. The way it comes together.
After that, the culprit simply rode on it as it moved toward the doctor's lab.
Because this was a little detail from way back in the beginning of the investigation.
By doing so, the culprit was able to evade the camera and remain hidden as they made their way through the lab.
You're right. If it's true, then it does solve all of the previous mysteries. Imagining the culprit riding on a robot makes me laugh.
But Yuma, have you not realized it? You're still missing something. One major mystery remains.
Yeah, I know we don't even know who it is, though.
What's with that huge sigh?
We know their weight, though, at least.
The greatest mystery of this case should appear soon. Just the thought of it gets me feeling down.
This case's greatest mystery?